time now, folks, to welcome our second guest of the night, and it is a huge welcome to our to the Geelong Rangers Soccer Club president, TIM SANTALUCIA. Tim, good evening and a very, very warm welcome to you. How are you?
Thank you, Tonchi. I'm well.
Mate, great to have you on the show, and thank you for joining us. And before we get to, I guess we're going to talk about the club as a whole and your recent appointment as president and the team's performance on the weekend. But, mate, tell us about this heinous act of vandalism that has happened, and it's not, unfortunately, the first time.
No, it's the second time. The first time the wires were cut, the copper cable was cut to the lights, and they stripped the cables out of the pits and the ground, and it took quite a few weeks to repair. On this occasion, they came in early, cut the connectors, cut the cables on every pit, threw away the connectors, as you saw by them lying near the trees there. And we believe they plan to come back the next night to strip the copper out. On this situation, though, we had security on site, and they remain on site overnight just in case they feel the need to come back. The great news is that we were able to restore the lights on Saturday to pitch 2 and 3, and this afternoon we've got pitch 1 back on deck.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That is good news to hear. But it is really annoying. And look, when I heard about this over the weekend, and I was speaking to a few people just from various clubs, everyone's just disgusted. It really, really is. And it's the fact that it's happened to a sporting club. And look, it's unfortunate because Myers Reserve is quite isolated at night, and obviously, whoever it is, they've meticulously planned this out. And going forward, I mean, it's a costly exercise now to have security around the clock and all the time. But is the council? I mean, it is a council venue. Is the council doing anything to prevent this from happening in the future? Is there extra locks, or is there anything that they can do to stop this happening?
Yes, look, the council's been fantastic in getting the lights back online. We've had a few conversations with the relative managers about what we could do to perhaps improve surveillance at the site. It is extremely isolated up there, and you can get onto any corner of the pitch from numerous paddocks that surround us. There aren't really any residences, so it's the situation we're in. But look, surveillance might help. Yes, security is very costly, but at this stage, council's been the one to organise that. I think we have for 1 or 2 nights as well.
Excellent. Well, it is good news, and hopefully it won't happen again. But yeah, there's some crazy people around town. But talking about crazy times, I guess, if you like. Let's talk about the weekend. It's as we know, both the senior men's and senior women's teams are struggling at the moment. But it was a good result for the women's. And let's look at the women's result first. 3 wins. 3 points over Mill Park. That must have done a world of good for the confidence of the women.
It certainly did. Look, our team were very successful to get through undefeated at State 3, and then invited into State 1 was a decision that was very well pondered over. Should we, shouldn't we? Do we have the support? You know, there are additional answers and questions with where we are now.
Yep.
Personally, I think we've definitely got the talent. Playing in the Nike Cup did a bit of damage to a few of our key players, and that's carried on from that time. They've played again, then they've been hurt again. So that would be the main reason why we've struggled. But we pretty well had the full squad on the pitch on Sunday, and it was a real shock to Mill Park. And it became a bit of a physical game. There were a pile of yellow cards for our opposition. But look, we got there in the end, and the girls are really happy.
Yeah, so obviously it makes a difference having the team that's on the park that is near full strength, and so the ability's there, the quality's there. It's just a matter of some of those injuries. And I know, speaking to Tony Horrocks last week, he was lamenting the fact some of those injuries. Bridget McDiarmid, I think, was out the whole season, and she was such a key player last year, and there were other players that have been out for multiple weeks, and then several players that were out, in between as well. So it's been a real struggle to get the same team on the pitch twice. In fact, I think he actually said he hasn't been able to do so all season.
But we're very fortunate in that head of football, Fadi Kiprian's with us. Tony's fantastic. Ivan, who's holidaying in Thailand.
So that's why he's that's why
Ivan's with us as well, and Gordon. We've got exceptional coaches, and they're very committed, and that's really helped the development of our women's squads.
Now, a question about Ivan. How was he allowed to take a mid-season holiday break, and of all places to Thailand, where it's a lot warmer than here? Is he going to get reprimanded, or is he going to have to buy drinks for the week he comes back, or something like that at the bar?
Well, I don't know. I was at training one night, and he said, "I'll be away for 2 weeks. I'm going to Thailand," and by then it's too late to do anything. So he left. It's a well-earned break.
Yeah, no, maybe just to recharge his batteries, and that's fair enough. Turning our attention to the senior men, it's a very young squad. It's a very, well, I won't say inexperienced squad, because they've got a lot of experience playing at various levels of football, including NPL juniors as well. But it's just a young team, and Troy Hardy, one of the co-coaches, was saying it's to try to get the players to gel together. Especially young players, is very difficult. But that's not the one we're wanting. We're wanting this ladder. Mm-hmm. That's better. There's hope there. They've got a game in hand against Mill Park, and that's always a good game against Mill Park. 1 point behind Altona North, 2 points behind Hoppers Crossing. And interestingly, the week before, Rangers, I think, defeated Altona North and leapfrogged them, and now Altona North have leapfrogged Geelong Rangers. What's the feeling amongst the lads? Is there a sense of optimism that we can do it, or are they just sort of reserved to the fact that it's going to be a tough league, and we're probably more than likely going to be relegated?
Look, I don't think optimism would be the word. They are 100% committed. Mm-hmm. The gelling is a bit of an issue, because Geelong Rangers over the last 4 or 5 years have had a large amount of youth and a smaller or a dwindling amount of experience. And that middle ground is where we haven't been able to pick up players. But I think Geelong Rangers has always been a great developer of youth and juniors. And they've gone to clubs like North Geelong, etc., and on from there as well, which is great. As for where we sit, we've got the talent. We just need to win the games. And last weekend, I was at the game. It was a shock loss. It really was. Shouldn't have happened. Did happen. We played a game where we had 2 red cards, 9 players on the pitch, 2-0 down, and we still managed to pull a draw out of it. So I don't know, but we do rotate a lot of players through, reserves to seniors back to reserves. As I said, a lot of youth, and we need a bit more experience, a bit more training, and it'll be great. Future's good.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about the future. There's a famous name up there who's at the moment the leading goal scorer in the senior team, young Jordan Savinsky, the son of Adrian Savinsky, a famous name in Geelong football circles. He's scored 5 goals at the moment from 11 games. Not a bad strike rate at all, and hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more goals from him and from some of the other lads up there as well. Wishing them all the very, very best. About 6 weeks ago, 2 months or thereabouts, whatever, the previous president, Lisa Brooks, unfortunately decided to step down, and you were appointed, Tim, as the president. What's your vision for the club? Have any other new players come onto the committee alongside after your appointment? And what can you see happening at the Rangers over the next, say, 12 to 24 months?
Well, from a committee perspective, we're pretty well 6 females, 6 males. We aimed for that balance. Mm-hmm. The contribution by everybody in the committee is spectacular. The delegation has worked out exceptionally well. Everyone has a task to do, and they're fully owning their roles, including particularly Pete Bradley as a junior coordinator for the boys. Lisa Williamson, Mini Roos coordinator, exceptional, and Martin Brandwick and Michelle Ball share the junior women's coordinator. So it's been fantastic. It's been fun. It's been great. For the future at the club, we want to continue to improve the facilities. We want to focus on our junior development further, which we are doing again through Pete and the Metro squads, our Metro program and pathway. We'd also want to maintain our culture and our reputation as a good all-round family club.
Yeah, there was. I know we've spoken in the past about the Myers Reserve, a master plan precinct. What's the latest with regard to that? Is it still kind of in the planning consultative phase, or has it moved one step forward?
It has been adopted by council now with a minor alteration. Originally, I think the officers wanted to put the clubrooms at the end between a potential new pitch and pitch one, which wouldn't have been at the central position, wouldn't have been optimal. There was an amendment moved by Anthony Aiken, who supported our members and our club to put it where we thought it would be best for us. Our co-tenants at Myers Reserves are fantastic. The cricket club, the football club, netball, everyone's been vocal with council saying that no, it's Geelong Rangers' turn and it's their time to have a new facility, and they've supported that, which, it's fantastic to have good co-tenants.
Yeah, and so the new clubrooms, would that be just where the existing clubrooms are, or built onto that, or will they be demolished and erected there, or will they be moved to another in between?
No, the existing clubrooms and change rooms would be demolished. That would become some additional car parking. The new clubrooms would be between the football oval and the soccer pitch one.
Yep.
So, and with the dream of having an all-weather pitch there, and I think there's a further plan down the track with the development, perhaps residential subdivision behind that, that the developer would contribute to public open space and create a new football oval then for the football club.
Wow, fantastic. Fingers crossed. Yes. Now, last week, Football Victoria came out with the news that they were launching a regional football review. They've engaged an outside body, an independent body to undertake this and the consulting process. Do you know much about it? Do you know when and if the Geelong football community will be consulted? Have the clubs been consulted?
Good question. If it's the review that I think you're talking about, there is a document out there that all of the clubs have had an input into. And it's at the next stage, which I'm pretty sure the council will be reviewed on that document as well to see that it fits within their plans. And supported, of course.
Yeah. Do you hold much hope that things will change, or do you think it will be just pretty much, a document that's produced that Football Federation or Football Victoria won't really take into account? They're kind of renowned for not listening to their constituents. I'm going to say that because I'm not involved with Football Victoria. But that's the criticism from a lot of people. And they're saying that the Geelong football community has been let down and somewhat forgotten by Football Victoria. You've got to probably watch what you say. But is that what a lot of Rangers people feel about Football Victoria with regards to the Geelong football community?
Look, again, if it's the document I'm thinking of, Football Victoria have been involved with it, as have the local clubs. And I'm confident that everyone's agreed to what's in that document. And it will get released publicly for everyone else to have a comment on as well. In regards to Football Victoria letting the region down, there's concern with, obviously, the expansion of the area that's under governance by Football Victoria with the local rep. But he has assured the Geelong clubs that he will be in attendance and available as much as was Foddy as before. So, I mean, the regions that we've been expanded into are nominal anyway, not with large football communities or leagues or teams anyway. So I don't think that will be largely affected in the Geelong region.
Okay, that's good to hear. And it is called the Regional Football Review. There is a press release on Football Victoria's website saying Football Victoria recognises the need for a comprehensive regional football review to ensure our game is played, administered and developed in the most effective and efficient manner possible across the state. So SANTALUCIA is the independent organisation which will be running, or which will be doing the consultative process. Tim, thank you so much for joining us tonight. There's good news obviously on the horizon with regards to the facility up at Myers Reserve, both with regards to the copper wiring and also the master plan. And certainly we wish you all the very, very best as far as the senior men's and senior women's team. And we certainly know the juniors are just going absolutely bonkers, the numbers. But one final question, with the Women's World Cup starting this week, and obviously there's going to be unprecedented interest and demand for the sport. And unfortunately, it's just that it will be finishing just as the local season here is finishing. But do you think it's going to have a big roll-on effect particularly for next year as far as numbers of kids wanting to play, particularly girls? And part two of that question, are we as a community, as a region, ready for that anticipated explosion in interest?
I think that the region is ready for that. I think most grounds still do have available time slots for training and for players or teams.
Mm-hmm.
We've certainly got the ability to host more teams and more female players. So yeah, we've got a few open slots at the moment with our pitch allocation. The biggest challenge is always going to be coaches and coaches qualified to be able to develop the youth properly. So yes, it's always a hunt for a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciated it and love chatting to you. And like I said, all the very, very best for the rest of the year indeed, and for the foreseeable future for Geelong Rangers.
Thank you, Tanchi.